Okay, let's start at the beginning. Just simply read through it. And it goes on to say the middle digit of a number. And typically, when they say number in this text, it means integer. And we have a 3-digit integer at this point. And what I'm going to do is just write that down for you. And a 3-digit number, what does it look like to me? It looks like there's 3 digits. So I'm going to say first digit, second digit, third digit. And I'm going to say x is an integer, y is an integer, and z is an integer. And what's the number? If it's a 3-digit number, it's going to be 100x plus 10y plus z is the number. All right, so I know what the number is. Now, what do they go on to say? They say the middle digit of a number of 3 digits. What's the middle digit? It's y. And what do they claim it is? They say it's 1/2 the sum. It's 1/2 the sum of the other 2 digits. Well, the other 2 digits are x plus z. I got that covered. Let me go on. It says if the number, well, what's the number? The number is 100x plus 10y plus z is divided by the sum of the digits. Well, the sum of the digits are x plus y plus z. Now, they say that if it's divided, they go on to say the quotient would be 20 and there would be a remainder. The remainder is 9. And the remainder is something we did not divide by, the divisor, which is x plus y plus z. I'm going to keep reading it. And they said if 594 is added to the number, well, I'll write that down, 100x plus 10y plus z, and I'm going to add 594 to the number. What did they say? The number would be inverted. What does that mean? The digits would be reversed. So it would be 100 z plus 10y plus x. I want to go through the key, and this is the first step, that we get, what they said. And things are certainly written down for you. And what I mean by that, they got this written over here. I certainly would read through that. All right, they say x is the first digit, y is the second digit, z is the third digit. Pretty typical. You could use different letters if you want. It goes on to say the number is 100x plus 10y plus z. I'm kind of seeing that. They're pretty consistent. They also, reading it, I read that in the problem. Mine looks a little different than theirs, but it's really the same content. And did I write this down? I certainly did. I'm seeing that right over here. And did I write this part down? I certainly did. Now, what's your struggle now? Taking this system and solving for x, y, and z. Now, I realize some students are going to say, well, I think I could just play around with the numbers and get the digits because we know x, y, and z are really simple integers. Like, 1, 2, 3, yada, yada, yada. You get the idea, all right? So what I'm going to do is go to the whiteboard, though. So the whiteboard is where I have to write down the equations I'm seeing. And, I'm just going to, maybe not write them down verbatim. I'm just going to simplify each one separately. So what's the first equation? If you remember, it had a fraction, so I'm just going to write it as 2y equals x plus z. That's the first equation, simplified. And then the next equation, I'll write it down for you. It's going to be in stages, though. I have to do it in stages. It's 100x plus 10y plus z. And I'm going to multiply both sides by the LCD. And what would you get? You would get 20x plus 20y plus 20z plus 9. And I got to simplify that further, all right? And I'm going to just get the x's on one side, y's on one side, z's on one side, and the number on the left. So it's going to be 80x. And then you're going to get, let's see, minus 10y, and then minus 19z equals 9. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write this equation like that too. X, y, z. So what do you get? X minus 2y plus z equals 0. What I do, I subtracted 2y from both sides. So it would be x minus 2y plus z would be 0. All right? What's the third equation? Well, again, I'm looking at it. Again, I'm looking at my notes, by the way. I want to point out that, this is really kind of important to me. This is kind of important to me. And then that last thing, I'm going to write it down for you. And what is it going to be? Let's see. We've got to be careful here. 99x. And again, you need to be looking at your notes to know that. And the y's disappear, which is good news. And then I get minus 99z. And that equals minus 594. All right, let me look at my notes again. I want to make sure I've got all three equations down in what I consider the simple forms of them. So 99x, I see that. The y's disappear in the third equation. The z would be 90 minus 99 z's, and then I subtracted 594 from both sides. Now, I want to encourage you to kind of look for more simplifications. And what I noticed about this over here is that both sides are divisible by 9. So I'm going to say this simplifies further to 11x minus 11z. And I'm going to show you that 9 goes into 594. Well, let's see. I'd say 6, right? 6 times 9, 54. 54. Oh, look at that, 66. Let's make sure that's good. 6 times 9 is 54. I took away, let's see, 6 again. It's crazy. And now what I notice, they're divisible by 11. So you get x minus z equals, well, that would be 6 then, right? Because I'm dividing by 11. So I got a bunch of really simple equations over here. All right, I'm going to start to erase, some baby arithmetic over here. And get my eraser out. I'm not going to box this anymore. I don't think that's a good one. Too complicated. And what I'm noticing is I got 3 equations, 3 unknowns. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to get 2 equations, 2 unknowns. So I'm going to be using this equation here and this equation here to eliminate the y. And how would I do that? Well, I'm going to multiply this equation by minus 5. And let me put that down for you. And I'm going to put it right next to the one that I'm going to add it to. So it's going to be minus 5x, and that would be plus 10y. I'm multiplying this thing again by minus 5. That would be minus 5z. And let's see, minus 5 times 0 is just 0. Let me make sure I did that right before I go too much further. So minus 5x, 10y, minus 5z. Man, I think I did okay. And then I add them together. And what do you get? You would get 75x. The y would disappear. And then you get minus 24z equals 9. And what do I notice about that? I notice that's also divisible by 3. So what I want to do is divide that by 3. And I'll write these 2 equations down for you. One equation is x minus z equals 6. And if I divide this equation here by 3, you get 25x minus 8z equals, I'm dividing by 3, so that'll be 3. All right, this seems like a long-winded process, right? So what am I going to do now? Well, I'm going to multiply the top equation by minus 8. And let's see what you get there. Oh, you know what? I think I might have made a mistake somewhere. I'm sorry. This is minus 6. Sorry about that. So I'm going to multiply by minus 8, and what do you get? By the way, you may wonder why I kind of knew I made an error. I was going to get a negative number if I didn't do that, and that would be bad news. So what do you get over here? Minus 8x plus 8z equals, well, that's going to be 48, right? 25x minus 8z equals 3. Add these together, and I think I'm almost home. So what do you get over here? 51. The z disappears, and then what do you get there? You get 17. What's x? X is 3. Now, by the way, I'm not saying I'm there yet, but I certainly know what x is. Do I know what z is? And I do. Just look at this. And if x, right, if x is 3, I'll write this over here. Well, minus z would equal minus 9, so z would equal 9. I'll write that down. Certainly very reasonable, by the way. Now, of course, I'm missing a digit, right? I'm missing the digit y. I got to be honest with you, you can go anywhere you want. And I really mean that, anywhere you like. But I'm going to look at this one over here, and I'm thinking that this might be the easiest one to do. So what do I got to do? And again, let me write that down. So it's x plus z over 2 is y. So let's take a look at that. If I do 9 plus 3 is 12, and 12 by 2 is 6. So let's say you can't remember. Well, we're looking for the number, and remember the number I said was x, y, z. And that's on the other pager, by the way. So what's the number going to be? The number is 3, 6, 9. All right? So again, I realize you might say, oh, that's a really long process to get there. I could have guessed at the number. We're trying to learn algebra, though, all right? And this is important, but that is the correct answer. Thank you.